Hey everybody, welcome to Jacob's Quest, and today I just finished watching episode 6 of HBO's The Last of Us, and this show continues to just be amazing all around. Of course, last episode we had just a little bit of everything. We had some of the monsters infected, we had some gunfights, we had some drama, we had some laughs, just everything was in that one episode. And this episode, we're skipping forward 3 months. It is now snowing everywhere. Or not everywhere, but wherever they're at in the country. I don't even know at this point. Are they in Kentucky or something? I don't know. Wherever they're at, it's now snowing, and they interrogate this older couple who has somehow managed to just completely isolate themselves off the grid. There's no one around. They don't deal with any of the drama of the world. They're just joking with each other. Even while they're being interrogated by Joel, they're just making jokes. They're just having fun. They're just like, this is their life. So that was great to see that at least some people out there are just living life and it's fine, Anyway, so they're just venturing forth. They're told, like, oh, watch out for these rivers, but eventually, of course, they have to cross the river, and it turns out to be Tommy's group. They're all on horseback, and we get there to this little town, and of course, they're taking some things from, chapter 2 of The Last of Us over to this one. So we're going to a town where his group is, instead of, I think in the first game it was like an electrical dam that they were trying to fix, which they do show it. They do show the dam, but they don't actually go towards that. They actually just keep moving forward. So, they're mixing things up a little bit because definitely they built this set in this town because I imagine it's going to be even easier for them to start filming season 2 when they have to obviously use this again. Spoiler alert, they're going to have to use this town again for season 2 when they start doing the second game, right? So it makes sense to just build it now and then move the location here, right? It makes sense. Anyways, and we see a lot of the things that we saw in the game kind of play out, but in some new ways, right? So for the first time ever, Ellie learns about Joel's daughter, right? Or I don't know if she knew. I'm trying to remember. Did she know he had a daughter, or is this the first time ever she found that out? Like, I don't know. She might have already known he had a daughter. She might not have known exactly what happened to her. Maybe. I don't know. I'm gonna have to rewatch the series because I feel like in the game, at this point of the game, she might have already known that she at least existed at some point. Maybe not like how tragically she died, right? I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. In any case, she finds out about that, and meanwhile, Joel wants Tommy to take Ellie the rest of the way. It's like a 10-day, I think he said 10 days, to the university. And that's because Joel's starting to have a lot of self-doubt. He's starting to have like these mild little panic attacks. He's having nightmares. He's realizing like, hey, I got attacked the other day because I was too deaf in my right ear to even know that someone was sneaking up on me. So I wasn't able to fight that guy off, and Ellie had to shoot him. And then when Henry had the gun pointed at me, I couldn't do anything about it. And then there was a situation with the dogs outside. So basically, he's just like, I don't think I can finish this mission. I'm too old. I think he said he was 56, way back in like episode 2 or something. So, he's definitely feeling the effects of like the hard life he's had to live ever since the breakdown of the world, right? So, he's having doubts that he can even do this. And of course that starts like this big fight because Ellie overhears it, and they have like this big argument, and it's just this big thing of like, Ellie doesn't want one more person to leave her life because she's just been passed around her entire life, especially after she got, she was shown to be immune. Even more so, she's just passed around from person to person to person to person, and now she's with Joel. She doesn't want it to just be one more person that, like, all right, now you take the kid, like, and no one wants to actually be with this kid, so it's a big emotional moment. It's like this whole thing of like their relationship is, again, it's cemented now. They've been together for so long at this point. But of course Joel does end up saying like, okay, fine, I'll go, I'll do it. He sees how like she feels safer with him, even if Joel doubts that he's the safest option. But anyways, they get all the way to the university and they come across a bunch of monkeys. Monkey I don't know, just monkeys there. Now in my brain I was like, is this where the giraffes were, or no, that's probably later, right? Because I completely forgot that like there's a section here in the game where time skips even more, and we have to go all the way to Salt Lake City, I think the map said. So they go to the university where the Fireflies were supposed to be, where this whole big lab was, and that was the whole point of their journey. And of course, it's empty. No one's there. So for the second time, they get to the point where the Fireflies are supposed to be, and they are not there. And that, you know, that's what happens in the game. But like, you got to think, like, geez, man, these Fireflies kind of suck, right? Like, this, you're just trying to deliver this kid to them, and like. How many miles, how many weeks, months has it been at this point? Like, geez, your Fireflies suck. Anyways, so of course they're there and it's empty, and they're like, all right, Salt Lake City, that's where we gotta go. But here's some raiders just randomly showing up to this university, trying to loot the place, I guess. And Joel, now in the game, this was a lot more brutal. Of course, you know, you gotta think about like the pacing of a game versus the pacing of an episode or even a season, right? Like, last episode we had so much action, so much stuff happening that like making this moment smaller than it was in the game, because in the game you have like this big shootout with these guys and it's this whole thing, and you get pushed out of a window and you fall on some rebar, and that's how Joel's basically taken out of commission. So they changed that to where it really is just a small skirmish with like one guy, and he gets stabbed, and then they run away on horseback before the other guys can get to him, right? So it's a smaller moment, which I think, you know, for the pacing of the whole season, if you go back and like, you know, binge the whole season, it makes a lot more sense to be like, all right, this episode's less about action, you know. Anyways, so Joel's been stabbed and he's bleeding out pretty badly, and they're getting away on horseback, and he falls over, and we just leave the episode like that. Now, you know, spoilers, I guess, for next episode, we know that Ellie essentially has to take charge at this point, and I don't remember how many weeks it is that she's, you know, hunting for food and trying to take care of this, you know, barely conscious Joel that's just kind of hanging on to life in this cabin. And then we run into another group, and, you know, I don't know how they're gonna handle that, but like, this group is pretty creepy people, you know, like these are definitely like not even like your normal raiders. These are like, I want to say they were cannibals, maybe. I can't exactly remember what the whole situation was with them. I just remember them being creepy. In any case, yeah, this episode was, you know, definitely heavy on the emotional side, but it was more of a, it wasn't sad emotional necessarily. It was more, well, there was some sad parts, but you know, it was, I don't want to say optimistic, that's the wrong word. Hopeful, maybe? I don't know. Anyways, I'm missing the word here, but it was definitely hitting a different type of beat than the whole Henry and Sam situation and how really depressing that got. You know, and so just, they're doing it, man. I don't know what else to say, really. Like, they're doing what they've been doing all season, where they're following the games, they're altering some stuff, some settings are different than it was in the games, but ultimately, it's all working out pretty well. And I know some people might debate, well, like, what about this change? Was this change as good as it was in the game? You know, and that's fun to, like, you know, kind of do like a back and forth of like what you liked better, the game or the show, right? But I think everyone's generally in agreement that the show is working. It's doing it. It's kind of amazing. It's it's kind of funny how, like, it seems so simple now, like watching this show, and it's like, well, yeah, how could adaptations have not just been this the whole time? And yet it took us this long to get like an adaptation that's like really making it work, you know, especially story driven dramatic story like this, you know. So just I don't know. Ooh, anyways, yeah, Last of Us episode 6, pretty great. They're doing it. Next episode I think is gonna be pretty wild, especially because like Ellie's essentially gonna have to be like the main star of the next episode, because Joel is, you know, he's gonna be hanging out in that cabin barely alive. He might wake up at the end of the episode, but like, you know, that stab definitely took him out for a while. So yeah, we'll see what happens. All right, bye.